So, here we go. The history of the Uhlinger family starts in 1899. There was a dude, his name was Monroe Uhlinger. Monroe Uhlinger was the very well-to-do postmaster of Warren, Ohio. These pictures are not real. They are pictures I got from Google because I don't have real pictures of these people. But this is what they would have looked like. These are actual pictures from the time, okay? So, Monroe Uhlinger married a lady named Eva, not Eva, Eva Jennings. That's a great story. Yay. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for sharing. Oh, wait a minute. It gets better. Because 11 years later, a lady named Mary Radcliffe was born in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Mary Radcliffe was literally born in the cabin, the one-room cabin back in a place called Hallstappel, back by Johnstown, where she grew up with her family of like 10 kids. By the time the 1920s rolled around, Mary Radcliffe was this raggedy-looking little poor girl that would literally walk from her house all the way to Johnstown, which was like about 15 miles, to sell vegetables. She would do that almost every day. She would walk, come home, walk the next day, come home. That was her life, and she said it was a terrible life. How do I know? Because this lady ended up being my grandma. But wait a minute, Monroe was married. How did that work? Well, here's the rest of the story. In the 1930s, fortunately for me, Miss Jennings was diagnosed with cancer. Now, that's obviously sad. It's not what we want. And here's how it worked. Back then, especially for cancer, it wasn't well understood. And so there weren't remedies. There weren't medications. All they could do for you back then was take care of you. And so it happened that Mary Radcliffe from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, was visiting a relative in Warren, Ohio. And at that church, this little church called Northmar, where some of you have been if you went on the middle school missions trip, Monroe Uhlinger happened to go to church there. And one day he walked in and he saw this cute little 20-year-old something named Mary Radcliffe come walking in. And he was like, hey, how do you feel about coming to live with my family and I? Because my wife has cancer and I can't take care of her now. And maybe you could come live with us. And Mary Radcliffe, coming from nothing, coming from a little cabin in the woods where she would walk 15 miles a day, she was like, really? Like, I'd have my own bed? Like my own room? He was like, yeah, you'll have your own, yeah, you'll be fine. She was like, okay. And so that day, Mary Radcliffe moved in with Monroe and Eva Uhlinger. Now, as it normally would go, Miss Eva held on for another 3 years, but 3 years later she did pass away. And there was a huge funeral in Warren, Ohio, and I could take you to her graveside because my grandma took me to it. Because she said that Eva was a wonderful woman. She said that even as she was getting ready to pass away, she loved Jesus so much that she made sure every day that my grandma was a Christian. That was the kind of lady she was. Well, here's where the story takes a creepy turn. Monroe Uhlinger, sitting at home about 2 weeks after his wife had passed away, didn't know what to do with Mary Radcliffe because Mary had become like a part of the family. And to be honest, Mary was kind of cute. And so Monroe, instead of saying, hey, Mary, how about you find another job, looked at Mary Radcliffe one day and said these words, hey, Mary, will you bury me? And Mary Radcliffe looked at Monroe Uhlinger and said, you're like 32 years older than me? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. And as you can see, in 1940, Monroe Uhlinger married Mary Radcliffe, and that is where the Uhlinger name that I carry comes from. Now again, like I said, there were 32 years between them. Think about that, please. I am 44 years old. What is 44 minus 32? Thank you, 12. Are there any 12-year-old girls in the room? Hey, Maddie, that's like being married to me. Uh-huh. Ew, right? Ew! Wow. Maddie could be your stepmom, Laurel. That's kind of cool. Look at that. That's creepy. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to make jokes about it. Ew, that's weird. That is the age difference between my grandparents. And guys, here's the thing. They obviously got married. They went on this awesome honeymoon to Niagara Falls. So my grandma told me. And it turns out that 2 years into their marriage, Mary Radcliffe turned to Monroe Uhlinger and said, hey, Monroe, guess what? You're in your mid-50s. And guess what? I'm pregnant. That's right. In his mid-50s, Monroe Uhlinger had a son. His son's name was Donald Lee Uhlinger. Donald Lee Uhlinger. It's not me. I wasn't born in 1950. You guys think I could be born in the 40s, don't you? Wow. I don't know what to do with that, Mike. Man, that's all right. I'm going to get my revenge on 3 of you, so it's all good. So why do I say that? Well, let's keep going. Guys, there were 32 years, and then my dad was born, and then Monroe passed away. And that's sad, right? But here's the really cool thing, and I'm going to show you a picture of my actual grandma. It's the only one that I had on my computer. You can hit me, Tyler. That's my actual grandma. I used this picture at some point last year for something, too. This picture actually was taken at her 90th birthday party, which, again, if you went on the middle school mission trip, this picture was taken in the gym at Northmar. And so in 2007, the Uhlingers, us, we moved to Greensburg after grad school. And unfortunately, about 2 weeks after that, I got a call that my grandma had passed away. Now, that is sad because she raised me more than my mom and dad did. But as I was sitting at her funeral, and this picture was for her funeral. I photoshopped it really badly, but I did. Yeah, I know, it's bad. So I put that up because my grandma, she ran the race well. In the Bible, it says that we want to run the race really well as Christians, and she did. And so when I spoke at her funeral, I put that picture up and just talked about that verse and how she had inspired so many people. But before that, I was sitting there in the funeral, in that big, nice sanctuary that you guys saw, and I was thinking about all the things that my grandma used to say. Because you see, she's this weird combination of growing up broke in western Pennsylvania and then moving to what was a decent-sized city at the time, about 100,000 people, and marrying kind of into money. My grandpa was the postmaster, which made it, they were doing well. And so she had these, down-home kind of things she used to say to us. And I want to walk you through a couple of them. You've probably heard them. If not, then you're welcome for the wisdom. Here we go. How many of you guys have heard the phrase fish or cut bait? Anybody? Just us old people. Just one. You've heard it, though? All right. Fish or cut bait. If I was being lazy and I wasn't doing enough, my grandma would be like, hey, let's go. Come on, dude. What's wrong with you? Hurry up. Fish or cut bait. Meaning, either let's go, either fish or cut that bait off and let somebody else use it. So that's what that one means. Okay, maybe you've heard this one. She used to tell me to put up or shut up. Oh, really? Is it on Survivor? Okay. How many of you guys have heard put up or shut up? Anybody? Really? This is just my grandma? Okay. Put up or shut up means stop talking all the time. Talk is cheap. Either do it or shut your mouth. My grandma was tough. So, all right. How about this one? And she used to say this one all the time. She would get so, impatient. She would tell me to poop or get off the pot. How many of you guys have heard that one? Anyone? All right. Nice, sailor. Yeah, that's a saying. Poop. Did you ever hear my grandma say that, James? Really? What word was that, James? All right. So here's the thing. Again, it's not literal. Literally sometimes she had to go to the bathroom because we only had one bathroom. But yeah, she would say it all the time to me. She'd be like, Scott, poop or get off the pot. Let's go. And I'd be like, okay, Graham, I'll hurry up. Sorry. And it just meant you were lollygagging. All right. Final one. And this is probably just an old one too. How many of you guys have heard the phrase proofs in the pudding? Anybody? The proof's in the pudding. Okay. A couple of you have heard that. Well, good. Proof's in the pudding. Let me explain where this saying comes from. Now, here's the thing. My grandma grew up back in the country. She grew up with a couple of dairy cows. And she used to say that people would brag about their cows and how good the milk was from their cows. And then people would be like, well, I don't know. Let's see if your cow's milk's any good. Let's make some pudding. And then if the pudding tasted good, they would say, all right, that's a good cow. But if the pudding was nasty, they'd be like, your cow's nasty. Let's make some hamburgers. All right? So that's where this saying comes from. It means that talk is cheap, and let's see what you got. So we tonight are going to see if, in fact, the proof is in the pudding. Because I might be lying to you, or I might not be lying to you. I don't know. Here's what you have coming out. There are 3 big, huge bowls of pudding coming out. Yeah. Huge bowls of pudding with 24 cups of pudding in each bowl. And then there is whipped cream on top of that pudding. I may or may not have put Starbucks cards inside that pudding. Maybe I did, maybe. Oh, Francis is saying he got this, but he doesn't like Starbucks, so he's not going. So, is there anybody here, Maddie? Right there, and Colt. All right, first 3 I saw. Sorry, guys, I didn't see you over there. All right, here's what we're going to do. Mike Toussay, could you come up and please fit them with garbage bags over their heads? Because you are not allowed to use your hands to find the card in the pudding. And if you are like, I'm out, no thanks, you can get out right now. Oh, no, there's only one turn. Sorry. Bring them. All right, here they come. I mean, it's pudding. You may not. Go ahead and pull it. All right, so I said that I put a Starbucks card in each one, but maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm not. Here's the thing. The proof is in the pudding. If you find a Starbucks card in there, you must bring it out with your teeth in order to keep it, if there's even one in there. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. All right. Well, yeah, you guys can come stand up here by the tables if you want. You can crowd around. Go ahead. Only with your mouth. Here we go. We're going to count down from 3. Ready? Count down with me. 3, 2, 1, go! Is there one in each? I don't know, but you're going to have to get deeper than that, Maddie. Maddie, you're going to have to go in all the way. Hey, guys, do not let that bowl fall off the table. No, Maddie, you got to dig in. Go, Maddie, go! Nice! Go get it, Maddie, go get it! No, there's one in each.
here ate half the pudding.
Nice job, Maddie! All right, everybody, grab a seat. All right, hey guys, you can head to the bathroom if you want, or you can clean up right here because Kathy's really smart and brought up wet claws, and I didn't think about that. All right, these tables are making me nervous. Adult leaders, can we get the pudding and the tables out of here? Yeah, it's going to lead to nothing good. It just is. Somehow it's going to, yeah, exactly, Carl, I know. Somehow it's going to end up on me, so. And
Oh, I know. He ate half his pudding. I was cheering him on. Yeah.
Thank you, adult leaders. Thank you.
Oh, you salty pudding juice. What is she doing over there?
All right, so we are going to keep going. All right, up on the big screen, you see the verse James 1:22. It says this. It says, do not merely, listen up, guys, listen up. Everybody come back. Do not merely listen to the Bible and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says, right? Guys, my grandma would have agreed with this. She would have said, yup, that's right. If you're a Christian, you're going to do what the Bible says. You're going to prove it. You are going to show by your life, which is the pudding and the proof, right? The proof's in the pudding. So, thinking about what my grandma would have said and wanting you to understand these verses even better, here's what I need you all to do. If you're, hey guys, balls away. Thank you. I need all of you, and this is going to sound weird, but I don't care. And we're not going to go until I say go. I'm going to have all of you go to the bathroom. And here's what you're going to do when you go to the bathroom. You're going to go in your bathroom, obviously. If you're a boy, ew, I just stepped in pudding. Nice. If you, they have it. Don't worry, it's safe, Maddie. All right, so you're going to go in the bathroom, and here's what you're going to do. You are going to find your face in the mirror. And even though it sounds weird, for about 5 seconds, all right? Correct. For about 5 seconds, I want you to make eye contact with yourself in the mirror. And here's what I want you to do while you're doing that. I want you to study your face. I want you to look at your face so that you don't forget what you look like. Everybody's got it? Ready, go. All right, come on in. If you're in high school or middle school, come on in. All right, take a look up at the big screen, please. Everybody, look at the big screen. It says this. Anyone who listens to the word, what's the word? The Bible. So anyone who listens to the Bible but doesn't do what it says, what are they like? Well, they are like someone who looks at their face in a mirror and then, after looking at themselves, goes away and immediately forgets what they look like. What? Who does that? Okay, how many of you guys can remember what your face looked like? Paige is struggling. Mac, she's struggling. That's okay. Guys, you obviously remember what your face looks like. Guys, if you come to youth group and old guy Scott gets up here and talks about the book of James, and you're like, yeah, that sounds good. I agree, Scott. Good lesson. Well done. And then you go away and you don't apply what we talked about, you're as dumb, you're as foolish as someone who looks at his face in a mirror and then walks away and forgets what the heck they look like. That's just, I don't know whose it is. Maddie's? She doesn't. So, guys, here is the phrase that I want to leave you with tonight. And then we're going to look at one more verse, and then we're going to have ourselves a little demonstration. If we could boil this talk down to 2 words, it would be this: prove it. Prove it. Are you a Christian? Prove it. Are you someone who reads your Bible? Prove it. Are you someone who claims that they love Jesus? Prove it. How do we prove it as Christians? It's how we live. It's your deeds, if you will. The Bible calls it your good deeds. In the book of James, chapter 2, verse 18, it says this. And you know what, guys? I will show you my faith by what I do. Bam. Now, the bam's not in the Bible. I've added the bam. But it is a mic drop. And so here's how we're going to wrap this up and finish. Nope, sorry. I need to know who in here says they are the most amazing volleyball player. You're like, you got skills. You got skills. All right. You got skills? You got skills for miles that go? All right, you look scared. Maddie, you got skills? All right. Maddie says that she is the best volleyball player in this room. Let's see. We're going to prove it. We are going to take Maddie's skills, and we're going to test them against another. Is there another volleyball player in here? Like, is there anyone who's, hold on. Oh, wait, little girl in the back, do you play volleyball? Oh, wait, have you started varsity since a freshman? Really, do you play for Keystone Volleyball Club, one of the best clubs ever? Oh, uh-oh, let's see who's better. Come on back, Maddie. Go get it. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to have ourselves a little skill test. Now, in volleyball, there is something called pepper. I don't know why it's called pepper, but it is. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I set you up. No, you're here. You can handle this, Maddie. Get up here. All right, Maddie just dipped. Francis, come on back here. You say you're pretty awesome. You're the Lion King, right? Francis claims to be the Lion King. All right, Carol, get up here. Fine. Francis, you're off the hook. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Kara and I are going to demonstrate something called peppering. In volleyball, you pass, you set, you hit. It's a way to warm up, and it's a way to work on your skills. I will do my very best with both of them, and we'll see by proving it who the best volleyball player is in here. Let's see. All right, now, obviously, it's not fair, right? Thank you, daughter, by the way. Good job, Kara. Give it up for Kara and Carl, everybody. Now, here's the thing. Carl did his absolute best, right? And dude is in 6th grade, and for being in 6th grade, you got skills, brother. Thank you. But here's the problem. Kara started playing in like 4th grade, and she's played club, and she's played varsity for a lot of years. And so she's better. She proved that she's better with her deeds, with her skills. She demonstrated it. And so tonight, as you guys head off to small group, we're going to talk about this concept of what do you guys think of people who are all talk? You probably know people who talk a good game, but they're not real. They're hypocrites. Right? We're going to talk about that. In small group, we're going to talk about whether or not you're the real deal. We're going to talk about whether Andrew and Ethan are the real deal. Are they the real deal when it comes to being believers? I don't know. In small group, you can talk about it. So, it's time for my favorite part.